Debt does not happen overnight. You allow it to creep in. One swipe, one loan, one purchase at a time. Before you know it, the bill has piled up. It's this big. And you're wondering, how did I even get here? We are going to break down the real reasons why people fall into debt, and some might surprise you. And if you have ever struggled with money, if you are struggling with debt, or if you want to avoid the mistakes that could lead you into getting into debt, then this video is for you. Hi guys, how's it going? It's Pratom checking and come back to my YouTube channel. Debt is something that you choose. Sometimes you choose it, not thinking that it could get way out of hand. But before you know it, it's something that is so big and you are now stuck in a cycle, and it is very much difficult for you to get out. And it is not difficult to find yourself deep into debt. And it does not even take years for you to be in that situation. In 3 months, you could get yourself in a very messy financial situation. That's how quick it happens. So in this video, we're going to look at 10 reasons why people get into consumer debt. First things first, living beyond your means. Honestly, if you know that you are earning 10,000, why are you living a life of somebody who is earning 15,000 or 20,000? And this is often due to lifestyle inflation. Trying to look like the next person, trying to have this and that because Belinda has it. And there is nothing wrong with admiring other people and having them inspire you, but is it within your means? So most people find themselves in huge consumer debt simply because they failed to understand their means. I've talked about knowing your numbers, and I will preach this over and over again. You need to know how much you earn, and you need to know how much you afford, how much your salary affords you, and live within that. And again, if your income is 10,000, don't want to spend the 10,000, the entire 10,000. That will be you not managing your money effectively. Remember, at the end of the day, you need to have a bit of money left for you to save and invest. So if you are aiming to spend your entire salary, you are not managing your money well, and you are failing yourself. And because of this, you will go get a loan. You will go to Mashonisa to get some money because you realize that, oh, okay, I have spent more than I have and I still have to spend. So if you inflate your lifestyle, if you want to live like the person who is earning so much money, then you will find yourself in consumer debt, and a lot of it. And the mistake that we young people make actually is that the minute you start working, you feel the need to show the world that, oh, you are working and you can afford this, you can afford that, you can have this, you can have that. Don't put pressure on yourself. And understand that nobody's looking at you. Nobody is expecting you to have anything. So take that and run with it and live below your means. Live within your means. And secondly, the lack of financial education. I say all the time that when you understand what money can do for you, you will take care of money. So oftentimes we find ourselves into debt, find ourselves not having savings and investments. And that is because we have no idea how money can work in our favor. So you never take your time to learn about money. So the only thing you know about money is to spend it, and everything else you have no idea of. And if the only thing you know about money is to spend it, you will find yourself into debt. Because what money means to you is exactly that. And you will make sure that you get your hands on more money so you can spend it. So if you were never taught about money and you are not even caring about teaching yourself about money, you will fall into debt. And also, one thing I like about financial education is that you will be able to quickly tell if somebody is selling you a dream or not, especially with debt. Trust me, you will be against credit card debts, just consumer debt accounts and everything, because you will understand the bigger picture that it's not like they care so much about you to have access to clothes through accounts, phones through accounts. They are pushing their business. And if you are not pushing your financial well-being, they are not going to look out for you. Somebody once said that they see debt as free money. And I was like, okay, which, I do understand. to some extent. Not that I agree, but I understand them. They see it as free money. And most people who are deep into debt is because they see it as such. This are presented to you like the best thing that could ever, happen for you. And you accept it also because you do not understand how money works. You never talk about money. You were never taught about money. And even at your big age, you are not teaching yourself about money. Financial education is very important. It will help you understand budgeting, interest rates, saving and investing. And in your adult life, the minute you start earning a salary, know that you are an adult and you are expected to be financially responsible because life is starting and life will throw at you what life throws at other people. So if you are going to make adult decision based on the fact that money is meant to be spent, you are going to find yourself in so much debt and it's going to be a cycle. If you want to know how real it gets, just go watch Itumeleng Molod. Listen, I love that lady's channel. I love that it's educational, it's very much informative. And if you want to know how worse it gets, then go check it out. You will see how worse it gets and you will see how people are just stuck in the cycle of debt and it's difficult for them to get out. And this is all because of lack of financial education. And number 3, emotional spending and retail therapy. The biggest scams ever. I'm not saying you must not care for yourself. I'm not saying you must not take care of yourself, but is it within your means? Is it within your budget? If you are somebody who cares about their emotions so much that you believe that the only way out of your sad emotion, your bored emotion is to spend money, you will find yourself in so much debt. And also because if you are earning 10,000 or whatever amount you are earning, that affords your needs, right? And over and above that, maybe your income does not afford. And if you are somebody who lacks discipline, obviously if you like it, then you will emotionally spend your money and get into retail therapy. You'll find yourself in so much debt. So retail therapy is not what you think it is because it is harming your finances. And the thing is, you did not budget for this. So where do you get the money to go for retail therapy? And again, it's so easy to get loans these days. To get a loan is just a click away. So if you are all about this retail therapy, then you will find yourself in so much debt. And number 4, trying to impress others. There is no reason why you need to impress other people that have no idea how much you earn, that have no idea how your financial life is looking like, and your life in general. They have no idea what your responsibilities are. So why do you have to care about impressing them? When you take care of your finances, you will block out all the noise. You must not care about what people think of you because you know that you are working towards this goal, this financial goals you have. So if you are just trying to impress other people, you are tapping into your own pocket and they're just chilling, achieving their financial goals, and you are trying to impress them. People cannot give you the validation that you need. They cannot. They will not succeed. They will fail you. If you are waiting on them to validate you, they will fail you. And now we live in an age where everything is about soft life, taking care of yourself, maintenance, this aesthetics and everything. You don't always have to follow a trend. You don't always have to try and fit in, get this to fit in. You don't always have to. And social media also makes it so easy for you to think that you need to impress other people because you want to have the same thing that the next person has because it's a trend. You want to fit in, you want to have a sense of belonging. And the problem is you will go as far as getting debt. Also because there are a lot of things we see on the media. Today it's this, tomorrow it's that. And if you follow all the trends, you will go get debt to find that. And the problem also is that if you are so rooted in impressing other people, you would not even mind to go get debt. Because for you, you are taking care of yourself, you are about aesthetics, you want to look nice and all of that. You want to be like others and copy other people. You are not going to mind. So if you live for other people, you're going to find yourself in so much debt, unfortunately. And those people they would not have asked you to go get debt. That is the unfortunate part, because nobody forced you. You just took it upon yourself to go and get the debt and just be like, I want to have this, I want to have that. But at what cost? And this goes back to my point on financial education. If you understand interest rates, trust me, you would not go get debt. Because the interest rates on personal loans and credit cards, they can go as high as 20% and even more. And imagine, for what? At what cost? So trying to impress other people is the quickest way to find yourself in so much debt. And number 5 is unexpected emergencies. For as long as we are living on this earth, we are going to get emergencies. So if you don't have emergency funds, you're going to get into debt. I was listening to a radio the other day, and they've highlighted that people go get personal loans to cover for emergencies. And I was just so puzzled, because if you know that you might have an emergency one day, why don't you save up for it? Why don't you build an emergency fund? This is not a difficult thing to do. You just have to decide that today I'm starting and I'm going to see it through and make sure that I max out my emergency funds. And I've made a video on how to successfully build an emergency fund, so you can go check it out if you need guidance on it. And unfortunately, there are people that don't care about building emergency funds because they know that all their personal loans, they will use their credit cards for their emergencies. You are using debt for the wrong thing. And for the minute you rely on debt and not rely on your own abilities of saving and investing money, you're going to find yourself in so much debt. Because imagine now, if something happens today, you're going to go get a personal loan. Something happens next month, personal loan. How many loans are you going to have? And how many machinistas are you going to have? Because one day you're going to get to a point whereby you are failing to pay those loans. You're going to opt for machonisa, and your life is going to be ruined really at that point. So if you have no emergency funds, you are just a foot away into getting yourself into so much debt. And this you can plan for, this you can build, and just get yourself that safety net to ensure that whatever emergency, you will be able to cover it. And number 6 is over-reliance on credit. I have just highlighted this, and this is because you see debt as an extension of income, and you see it as free money, easy access to money, or I can just get on the app, click, and then I have money and I'm able to live my life. The problem that I have with debt is that you're going to be in a cycle. It's going to be very much difficult for you to get out, because if you failed to manage your income and you relied on debt, what are the chances that you will be able to rely on that very same income that you failed to rely on initially? So failing to manage your income will force you to over-rely on debt. And the problem, like I say, this is going to be a cycle, and that will be your life. And imagine if you are in your 20s and already you are living like that. Imagine living 40 years being stuck with debt. And another thing is the interest rates. That's why it will take you forever to pay off debt, because of interest rates. So you cannot over-rely on debt. If you have an income, just make sure that your life can be sustained by that income. If your income is here, your life must be here. Otherwise, you are in big trouble. And number 7 is lifestyle inflation. If when your income increases, you increase your expenses, it's only a matter of time before you find yourself in so much debt. Understand that more money does not fix the problem. It just makes the spending bigger. When you get a new job, you don't have to inflate your lifestyle. You don't have to prove to people that you now moved from earning 15,000 to 40,000. You don't need to do any of that. Yes, you can want nice things for yourself. I feel it's a bit natural to want to live up to your income somewhere there, but let it be within your means. And even at that, make sure that you are still able to save and invest something. And number 8 is pressure and not being able to say no. There is nothing wrong with pulling through for people. I'm all about taking care of your people, but let it be within your means. You will go to an extent of getting loans because you want to support someone, because somebody has an emergency and you have to come through for them. Listen, somebody else's emergency is not your emergency, because why didn't they build their own emergency funds and just make sure that they are able to afford whatever that life throws at them? And the people who lack financial boundaries, who does not know how to say no, they will say yes to impress the person, but they will suffer in silence. Honestly, it is not worth it. So help people to the extent that your pocket allows. And I often say that whatever guilt-free income you give yourself, if you give yourself 500 and somebody comes and says, I am borrowing 600, you don't have it, because the money you have to do anything and everything, it's only 500. So where are you gonna get the extra 100 rands? So sometimes you tell the person that, hey man, you know what, I'm only left with 200. Hey, I won't be able to help you. You know, I get paid once a month and it's been long since I got paid, so I can't come through for you. And you say sorry and then you move. So deal with the issue of not having financial boundaries and not knowing how to say no. And number 9 is lack of planning and budgeting. You know, everything boils down to planning. If you fail to budget, if you fail to plan, you are never going to effectively manage your money. So with a budget, you first tell your budget that you want your money to do this and that. And then later, your budget will tell you to do this and that. So you need to have a close relationship with your budget. And I have said in my previous videos that have a budget and do weekly check-ins to check how your expenses are going this month. Are you within budget and all of that? The thing is, if you don't have a budget, how are you going to know that you are running out of money for that month? And the people who don't want to plan and budget are the people that rely on loans, because they don't care about the budget. They know that I have a bank. The bank will give me money and I will be able to survive throughout the month, or I will go to Mashonisa. So not having a plan or budget, you are forcing yourself to rely on debt. And the last one is high cost of living plus low income. You know, the problem is not always that people are overspending, they're inflating their lifestyles and everything. Sometimes it's simply because we do not earn enough. And because of that low income, you are always in survival mode. And if something was to go wrong that month, you know for a fact that you have no other choice but to go and get debt. And there is nothing you can do when you are in that situation, because your income does not cover everything. And while this to some extent might not be in your control, you have a responsibility. The minute you see that your income is not covering your expenses, look to build a side hustle, or go ask for an increase, or go look for another job. You know, I believe that you can always do something and you can always move and go find something better. And in as much as debt can feel like a trap, it is not permanent. You can always get out of debt. And if you are somebody that you see that you're just, you know, a foot away from getting into debt, just understand the reasons why you want to get into debt and why other people get into debt, and make smart choices and avoid it. Remember, small habits like budgeting, paying yourself first, living within your means, and learning about money can completely change your financial future. So start off with those small habits and just build a muscle of saving and taking care of your money. And trust me, in no time, you'll be in a better financial position that puts you far away from debt. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video and if you have found it to be insightful, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and comment. I will see you in my next video. Bye.